The Honourable Member for Corio, and I call the Honourable Member for Fisher.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. As the Minister knows, the government is spending an unprecedented $200 billion in the coming 10 years on our defence capability. This spend will transform our Defence Force's capabilities and make an enormous difference to our security in the coming years. The government is committed to ensure that as much of this spending as possible flows into Australian businesses. So this procurement will also prove a massive boost to our local industry. Mr Deputy Speaker, I want to see some of that $200 billion spent on the Sunshine Coast. We don't have the facilities to lay down the keel of a frigate or to build an entire fighter jet. However, we do have an underutilised aerodrome in Caloundra, we have vacant industrial property, a great many retired defence personnel and more technological innovators in our community. Our small to medium enterprises, Mr Deputy Speaker, are perfectly poised to deliver important parts of the defence capability that our country needs. There are already companies in my electorate of Fisher who are exploiting these opportunities. Helimods in Caloundra has recently won a contract for $154,000 to deliver wet decks for 14 MH-60R Romeo Navy helicopters. Helimods already employs 25 skilled workers on the Sunshine Coast, and if they are able to build on this contract and win more defence work, they intend to employ many more. The Minister will remember that I visited Will Shrapnel and the team there with him just last month to see their manufacturing facilities. Another company in the same part of my electorate, Presidium Global, have recently won a larger contract for $1.3 million. Presidium are designing and manufacturing an entirely new type of unmanned ground vehicle which will help to keep our servicemen and women safe and out of harm's way. This kind of innovation is exactly why the coast is the perfect location for more defence contracts in the future. A third business in my electorate who are also working with the ADF is AnyQuest. Based in Warana, near my own electorate office, AnyQuest build military-grade DC and AC power generators and auxiliary power units which are used in our Bushmaster vehicles. AnyQuest have not only been supplying these power units to the ADF, but they've also been able to enjoy a new contract with the Singapore military, only just announced a couple of weeks ago. The University of the Sunshine Coast has also been successful in winning a multi-million-dollar contract to research new pavements for runways for the ADF. And this is a great sign of engagement between universities, higher education and the Defence Force. Helicopter parts, remote vehicles, power generators and research, these are the kinds of projects that small Sunshine Coast businesses and the University of the Sunshine Coast are perfect for. I want to see a Sunshine Coast that is no longer dependent on tourism, building and construction. I want to see our small businesses given the opportunity to make a contribution to the nation's defence capabilities. That's why I organised the inaugural Sunshine Coast Defence Industry Forum in May. And I'm very grateful to the Minister for Defence Industry for joining me for this event. 170 local businesses registered for the forum to hear the Minister speak and to learn more about what they could do to win a defence contract. The interest among small businesses in Fisher was very clear, Mr Deputy Speaker. The Innovation Centre at the University of the Sunshine Coast was full and a great many had questions for the Minister and for representatives of the Centre for Defence Industry Capability, Defence Science and Technology Group. Small businesses see the opportunities here and they want to be involved. Small businesses face challenges, of course, that are different from their larger counterparts. Their lower cash flows and smaller cash reserves are one example. The Turnbull government already helps with this challenge with its pay on time or pay interest policy. The government pays all businesses within 30 days on contracts valued up to $1 million, and if it fails, it pays interest on the balance. In 97% of these contracts, the government now pays on time. We are acting as an example for all businesses in our payment terms, and I encourage all companies to follow suit. It will never be easy for a small business to get their first defence contract. It's right that it takes flexibility, perseverance and vision, but government should do everything it can to make the process as easy as it possibly can, not only in the defence portfolio, but across government procurement. I hope that the Minister agrees, and I'd like to ask the Minister what the government is doing to make it easier for small business to engage and to contract, not just with the Defence Department, with the ADF, but with government across all portfolios.